Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Nrsimhadev.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for the Sunday program. Request everyone to be please seated. First of all, I would like to know if there are any newcomers, first-time comers to this program. Is there anyone coming for the first time? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, please come and accept a small gift from us. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today it is our great fortune to get the association of His Holiness Romapada Maharaj. His Holiness Romapada Maharaj ki. Today Maharaj is going to speak on the topic mutually supportive roles of Sri Nama and Srimad-Bhagavatam. I'm sorry, I was confused. Yeah. Maharaj has been very much
There's a saying in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's very nice. Truth, eloquence is truth concisely spoken. He's been coming many times here. Welcome again. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Microphone Jamana Tiravana Chadi Jamana Tiravana Chadi Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Kunjabi Jayo Vishnupad Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gora Premanand. Could you imagine somebody telling you maybe a year or so ago that when you come to the temple you got to wear a mask? I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it, but here we are. And everyone's masked up. Congratulations. You know, there was a little problem because the Govardhan Puja, so please be careful with your staying masked because they say that helps. A nice topic for everybody. There's 2 newer people here, or at least first time visiting the temple, and for persons that have been around for umpteen years. For those of you that are here for the first time, just sharing, I've been practicing Krishna consciousness now for 52 years. With nothing else, not just like, part-time, but immersion time. So it's nice. It's very nice. You can't stay with something for 52 years unless it's nice. It's more than nice. So keep going. May you join me 52 years later. Mutually supportive roles of Sri Nama and Srimad-Bhagavatam. You'll see this image again. Like a watch, a pocket watch has a cover, and so the upper part is the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the other image is the image of the cover of first canto Srimad-Bhagavatam. So we're going to explore this topic a little bit. It's a nice topic. Some of you like reading Prabhupada's books. I know you do. And one of those books that he wrote that he considered important is Nectar of Devotion. Oh, gosh. My computer's not cooperating. Time out. My life with computers hasn't been so delightful. I had a computer hard drive crash. It wasn't nice at all. Okay, now it's fine. Okay. Nectar Devotion is one of those books that Srila Prabhupada translated very early, 1970, summer of 1970. When he came to America, before he came to America, he had translated the first canto of Bhagavatam in 3 parts, and he was already projecting that he would have 60 volumes to complete the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam 12 cantos, because he counted how many pages and so forth and so on. But this was such an important book. He did a timeout. He just went over there and worked on this Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study of one of the most important works of all in our disciplic line, is a complete comprehensive study of a life of devotion. Bhakti rasa in Sanskrit. Rasa means taste. The rasa or taste of bhakti that's like an ocean. Rupa Goswami had this, we can say, realization or appreciation that the spiritual world is an ocean of bhakti rasa. That's what it is. It's just wave after wave after, like in the ocean. And sometimes the waves hit other waves, and sometimes they rise, and sometimes they fall, and it keeps moving and moving and moving and moving. And the whole of the spiritual world is like that, only it's not ocean water, it's rasa. Sounds nice. It is nice. It's an ocean of rasa, and varieties and varieties. And what helps one begin entering into that ocean of bhakti rasa is what we're doing. It's called devotional service and practice. So there's a whole section in Nectar Devotion called devotional service and practice. Sadhana Bhakti, it's called. And there's 64 items that are very specially effective. And of those 64, 5 are identified by Rupa Goswami as the most potent forms of devotional service. And these two, chanting and Srimad-Bhagavatam, are 2 of the 5. So it's a good combination. It's a very good combination. The chanting, one of the first things that it is subjectively experienced for one who seriously takes up chanting or fixing their attention on being very attentive to the sound of Krishna's name, is the heart becomes cleansed. Chaita darpana marjanam, the heart becomes cleansed. However, if the heart becomes cleansed and one's activities aren't properly guided, you can get in a mess. You can become a sentimentalist or a fanatic without proper guidance of activity. So the guidance of the activity comes from Scripture. And there's many other things, but like a train moves on 2 tracks, they have monorails, but the older style, two tracks. That which similarly, spiritual life moves on 2 tracks, that which makes the heart pure and that which guides your activity. And so the Bhagavatam and the chanting of the holy name go very nicely together. And such strong emphasis was placed in the foundation stages of starting a new Krishna consciousness in the West that didn't know anything about Krishna and Krishna bhakti. But the chanting of the holy name and the literature that teaches people the science of living a devotional life. Here's a nice verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a book about Lord Chaitanya's life. Of these 9 processes of devotional service, so there's 9 processes. I've just mentioned there's 5 most potent forms. There's another place where it's described. It starts with hearing, shravanam, hearing, kirtanam, vibrating, remembering or awakening of our pure consciousness, and then 6 more. Offering prayers, worshiping the lotus feet, deity worship, and so forth. There's 9 processes. And of those 9 processes of bhakti, this little boy's trying to get out. He has to need some help. Okay. Of these 9 processes of devotional service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of Godhead. It's described in this Nectar Devotion that of these 5 most potent, if you do any one of them without offense, any one of the 5 or combination, but any one of the 5 without offense, immediately one attains the stage of Bhava Bhakti. So it's a very powerful process. And this is now some initial ones describing from the scriptures the importance of the holy name. Now here's one about the Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam, that's a photograph of a complete set of Srimad-Bhagavatams, is the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta, you know the meaning? Our first time visitor here. Vedanta. You know the word Veda, right? Veda, V-E-D-A, Veda. Veda is these Sanskrit texts. The literal meaning of Veda is knowledge. And Anta means the end of. Vedanta, the end of all knowledge. So the Vedas are this vast body of literature on every single department of knowledge, like a big university kind of. And then the Vedanta is the summary of all of it in essence form. So this Bhagavatam is the conclusion or the essence of that essence. Because its subject matter is the absolute truth, which, while non-different from the spirit soul, is the ultimate reality, one without a second. The goal of this literature is exclusive devotional service unto that supreme truth. Very nice. Devotional service unto that supreme truth. That's Srimad-Bhagavatam. And that's the essence of the essence of all knowledge. Thank you very much. Children are nice, especially when they're in the other room during class. I'm going to speak a little. Is it okay to speak a little more than just what's on the screen here? Because it's going to take longer. Your seatbelts are on. You're ready to go. Okay. I mentioned already Rupa Goswami, who is one of the principal followers of Lord Chaitanya. You with me? Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya? Don't know. Lord Chaitanya, yes. No. No. Okay. Okay. Krishna, yes? Krishna, all right. That's a starting point. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna, that one. And to teach how to follow the teaching, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is all other forms of expression of religion are subordinate to this one. And that one is surrender unto me. Conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. After Krishna departed, he considered, this age is very fallen. How are people going to know how to surrender unto me? I'll come myself and teach it. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, who appeared to teach how to live by the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, how to surrender fully to Krishna. He had some principal followers. Rupa Goswami was one. It was the foremost of all, very, very elevated personalities. And there is another who was his near contemporary, a little younger. His name was Jiva Goswami. Jiva. Same name as the soul, as the Jiva, right? Jiva, his name was Jiva Goswami. Nice name. And he wrote a lot. And one of those writings was a text called Tattva Sandarbha. Tattva Sandarbha has, its first part is to teach, if you want to know something, especially if you want to know transcendence, especially if you want to know Krishna, because he's the supreme transcendence, you need to know the evidence for knowing that subject. There's a fancy English word called epistemology. It has bells and whistles on it. Epistemology. It means the means of knowing something. So, or the Sanskrit word is pramana, the means of knowing something. Some of you are nodding your head. You know that word, pramana, the means of knowing something. So he has a whole section, very brilliantly composed, that explains the best way to know transcendence, and especially the best way to know Krishna, is through Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's the best. And it goes through a whole very detailed description of how he reaches that conclusion, before he reaches that conclusion. So Srimad-Bhagavatam is the best amongst all of the Vedas. And then this Vedanta, that's the summary or essence of all the Vedas. It's the explanation, it's the essence of that essence. It's sublime literature, Srimad-Bhagavatam. The power of these 5 principles. So there's 2 we mentioned, chanting and Srimad-Bhagavatam. That means there's 3 more. And the 3 more include deity worship, association with and serving the Vaishnavas, and the 5th one is living in Naperville. No. It's living in a holy place of Krishna's pastimes. And if one cannot live in that holy place, then one can meditate on that holy place. We've been doing that for 9 days. We just had a virtual visit to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the place where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. Before he spoke Bhagavad Gita, he appeared in Vrindavan. So we visited there virtually for 9 days. 4 speakers, morning till night. It was really nice. Absorption in Vrindavan is really nice. I'm ready for more. Absorption in Vrindavan, it was very nice. It's all recorded if you want to hear the recordings or see them. So there's 5, and the power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love for Krishna simply by being a little connected with them. It's a nice illustration. Can you see in the illustration there's a set of steps going up, 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 up. And there's Radha and Krishna at the top of the steps. And there's Lord Chaitanya on the side of the steps, just overwhelmed with ecstatic emotion, getting close to Radha and Krishna. Here's another similar illustration, the set of steps going up, up, and Krishna's at the top. And to the left and to the right, there's the holy name and Srimad-Bhagavatam. That's the access way to get to Radha Krishna. The other 3 are also nice. Any one of the 5, done without offense, awakens Bhava Bhakti very quickly. So we're focusing on these 2 because they're emphasized so much. Here's a painting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mentioned his name. Krishna appearing to teach how to. There he is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, always discuss Srimad-Bhagavatam and constantly chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. In this way, you'll be able to attain liberation very easily, and you'll be elevated to the enjoyment of love of Godhead. They go well together. And it opens the door and the path to spiritual happiness, our spiritual, genuine, real spiritual life. First, we're going to make some references from the Srimad-Bhagavatam about the holy name. That's a very beautiful painting, isn't it? Glories of the Holy Name. I'm just going to read the translation. For the conditioned souls, and that's us, wandering in this world, there is no greater attainment than Sankirtan. Sankirtan means what we were doing a little while before, the chanting together, singing and praising Krishna's name, hallowing God's name, as it says in the Bible, hallowing God's name, praising God's name. There's no greater attainment than Sankirtan, from which one obtains bhakti with mind fixed on the Lord, and by which samsara is the cycle of birth and death, right? Cycle of birth and death. You familiar with that? Cycle of birth and death. You've heard the term? Yes. So the Sanskrit word is samsara. So doing what we're doing, it says, breaks that cycle. So when the cycle breaks, you got to go somewhere. You go to the spiritual realm. And if you don't go there, you continue in the cycle. Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 14, Srimad-Bhagavatam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death, samsara, cycle of birth and death, can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Some of you are very familiar with this painting or the story that's behind the painting. The painting is illustrating a very old person who is on his deathbed, literally, and he was born very pious and proper, and he was a brahmana, very qualified brahmana. Something happened. Some bad association happened, and he lost it. He became involved living with a prostitute. His wife left him. Anyway, he became a very degraded person. And at the time of death, the fellows over there on the right side of the painting, those are the agents of Yamaraja, the Lord of Death. They came to take him, you know where, the bad place, for judgment before Yamaraja. But he was calling the name of his youngest son, who, because when he was young, he was a brahmana, a spiritual person. He named his son Narayana. And so when he was about to die, he thought of and called out the name of that which he was most attached to, his little boy, Narayana. And when he called Narayana, those other personalities there on the right side of the painting, they're the agents of Narayana, or the Vishnu Dutas. They came and they said, stop. What? You stop death? Who are you guys? Who has ever heard of stopping death? Anyway, because he called the name Narayana, not intentionally even. His intention was calling his son, who he named Narayana. So if you have a son, name him Narayana. or one of the names of the Supreme Lord, because it's purifying. Even if you're not consciously calling, Govinda or Krishna or something, the sound vibration is elevating. Here's another verse, 6th Canto, Chapter 2. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly. It's right there in the verse. Sanketya, indirectly. That's what this elder person, his name was Ajamil. What Ajamila did, it was indirectly. He wasn't intending to call Narayan. He was calling his son. It was indirectly. All sins were taken away just by that. Or, jokingly, padihasya. Padihasya. Just like sometimes we were in a public forum somewhere and chanting, and people come along and make fun. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, it's very good. Very good. It's in this category. There's 4 categories in Sanskrit that are mentioned. Unintentional or indirectly, jokingly, for musical entertainment. I'm going to go for it. Once upon a time, I was in college. A few years ago. It seems like a few lifetimes ago. And when I was in college, there was a Broadway musical called Hair, Hair, not Hare. It was Hair. And it was a Broadway musical on the counterculture, hair, hippies. And so part of the production, the Broadway production, was they had people with skull caps and tambourines and drums, and they were chanting Hare Krishna on stage. Very good. They weren't intending to glorify Krishna or to, achieve something spiritual. They were it's just a musical, and it was a big hit, the Broadway musical. And their singing was part of it. Because during the 60s, Hare Krishna movement is a big part of the counterculture. Very big part of the counterculture. So it's a 3rd category, musical. There's other examples, many other examples. And the 4th is neglectfully. Neglectfully. Hela, namabas, hela, neglectful. That's generally that's what we do. Our mind is over there and our mouth is over here. That one, neglectfully, as opposed to attentively. So, but even that, it's called abhas, it means shadow or reflection. It's powerful. Minimally. Whatever sinful activities have been performed for many, many, many lifetimes, not just the last 5 minutes or the last 5 days, but many, many lifetimes. It's very powerful. What to speak of pure. Here's another, Canto 2, Srimad-Bhagavatam. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. There's a great acharya, a teacher, who wrote in Sanskrit. Here's his comment on that verse. There is no method more beneficial than singing the Lord's names, both for practitioners and for those who have already attained perfection. For those desiring material enjoyment, singing the holy names is the very means by which their desires can be fulfilled. For those who seek liberation, this alone is the means of salvation. And for those who seek knowledge of the Absolute, this has also been determined as the goal. By saying that this has already been concluded indicates there's no need for further evidence. Case closed. Narada Muni is the person pictured here. This is one of his verses from the Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Thus I began chanting the holy name and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all the formalities of the material world. Such chanting and remembering of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, not just names, but pastimes as well, are benedictory. So doing, I traveled all over the earth, fully satisfied, humble, and non-envious. I'm going to go a little more quickly because of time. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name, even if born in families of dog-eaters. Such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed in the holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Here's Lord Chaitanya again, with tears of ecstasy. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly, or cries, or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. There's a lot to say about that one. Here's a verse that Lord Chaitanya gave the how-to teaching. Yeah, he gave this teaching about chanting, and noticed in the red letters is Nija Sarva Shaktis, which means the holy name has all transcendental Shakti or potency. Because of time, I'm not going to recite. I'll just go to the translation. There he is, Lord Chaitanya dancing. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, Nija Sarva Shaktis, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate. I have no attraction for them. So here's emphasis once again on Nija Sarva Shaktis. His name is filled with all transcendental potencies. So now, you can go on, but the natural question is, if chanting has all of this, who needs anything else? Srimad-Bhagavatam, okay, that's nice. Association devotees, that's nice. Going to Vrindavan, that's nice. I just chant. So why Srimad-Bhagavatam also? If all this potency is there in the name, what's the role of Srimad-Bhagavatam? This is a long verse, Sanskrit-wise. It's written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Araju Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayasta Dhamma Vrindavanam. He's saying that I'll just paraphrase it to keep it simple. The best place, most worshipable place is Vrindavan, the abode of Krishna, the abode of Krishna and his parents and the residents of Vrindavan. Most sacred place. The most pleasing form of worship is the worship done by the gopis, who were dear associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. The Srimad-Bhagavatam, that's what's in red letters up top, pramana amalam. Remember we did that, pramana means evidence, the means of knowing something, or proof in English, pramana. So the best of all pramanas is Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's amalam, it's spotless, pure, absolutely pure. And pure love of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life for all men. These statements, for which we have the highest regard, are the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the silhouette image on the left side. When you see like that, that's Lord Chaitanya teaching us how to surrender to Krishna fully. Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam Amalam. The figure, the person on the right side, that's Vyasadeva, and he's giving the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, this spotless Purana. Hey, there's Lord Chaitanya again. And he's with his associates in Jagannath Puri, and guess what they're doing? They're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very nice painting. The person who's lying prostrated in the front, that's the king. The king is hearing from the sadhus, but he's in this very humble mood. He wants their mercy, and he's getting it in the form of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, but his heart is, his bodily posture is indicating where his heart is. He's in full submission to them, although he's the king. He's used to sitting on a big seat, big throne, but he's prostrated himself before the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And here's that same group hearing Srimad Bhagavatam again. This is from the introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. In the modern age, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there he is again, right? Preached the Srimad Bhagavatam by practical demonstration. It is easier to penetrate into the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam through the medium of Sri Chaitanya's causeless mercy. Now here's a real showstopper. It's very important. You know who is Srila Prabhupada? Our spiritual, the founder of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada, you've heard his name, right? Srila Prabhupada, you've heard his name. So he had a spiritual master. His spiritual master is being quoted here. He was also a very powerful teacher. And he's speaking about his teacher, Bhaktisiddhanta, says, well, let's paraphrase it. In India during his time, the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, the emphasis on Sankirtan had been misunderstood. It was misunderstood that Kirtan is sufficient, the musical performance of singing and chanting the name is sufficient. One doesn't need scripture, just chant. And he said that's a big misunderstanding. And the misunderstanding has led to the underemphasis of the importance of Shravanam. So let's do it again. There's 9 processes of bhakti, and it starts with Shravanam. And then comes Kirtanam, hearing and then chanting. So emphasis on chanting without hearing. See, here's a nice illustration. It shows japa beads on the upper left, and down there in the lower right, that's Vyasadeva compiling the Vedas. Bhaktisiddhanta revealed that the Srimad-Bhagavatam or Harikatha, topics about Krishna, is the Swarup Shakti of Krishna. So there's some newer people, so I just want to go a little slowly. Swarup Shakti, Shakti means potency, and Swarup means his own. So there's Krishna, let's just like there's the sun and the sunshine. Are they separable? No. You're going to find sun without sunshine? No. You're going to find shine without the sun? No. They're inseparable. So as the sun and sunshine are inseparable, so the name and the Swarup Shakti of the name are inseparable. And the Swarup Shakti of the name is Harikatha. So they're meant to go together. Same as the point at the very beginning. They're meant to go together. Just as Krishna is properly worshipped, not alone, but with his Swarup Shakti, Sri Radha. So there on the altar, Radha, Madhava. And we don't worship Radha alone, we don't worship Krishna alone. We worship Radha Krishna, Radha Madhava. We don't worship Krishna alone. We worship Krishna with his Swarup Shakti. That's proper. And similarly, we don't chant separate from hearing his Harikatha, the topics about Hari or Krishna. We do both. That's what we do here. What's happening? It stopped? Boy, me and technology are not a good mix these days. Well, that's okay. We'll pretend that it's working. Here's it's a nice picture. When the image comes on, you'll be able to see. Prabhupada is reading his own Bhagavatam. He's sitting there. It's in Bombay. You can see the palm trees in the background, and you can practically feel the heat of Bombay looking at the picture. Hearing from the text of Srimad-Bhagavatam is considered the most important process of hearing. Srimad-Bhagavatam is full of transcendental chanting of the holy name. It's true. When you read the Bhagavatam, so many terms, words in the Bhagavatam are names of Krishna. Different names, but names of Krishna, names of forms of the Lord throughout the whole Bhagavatam. So therefore it's purifying like the chanting of the holy name. That's the point. Okay. Time out. Okay. Who's that on the left side? On the left side, there's Krishna, and he's speaking to Vyasadev's wife. Behind his right shoulder there is Vyasadeva, and in the womb of Vyasadev's wife is their son, Shukadev. Shukadev became the speaker of the Bhagavatam after Vyasadeva taught it to him. So all different varieties of Atma Ramas, that means those who take pleasure in the Atma or the self, the soul. Their happiness is inside, not outside. Especially those established on the path of self-realization, though free from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities. and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. The point is this. Shukadeva Goswami, from the time he was born, was already self-realized. That's pretty rare. He had no attraction for anything material, but he had attraction for topics of Krishna, which indicates the topics of Krishna are not material, because he had no attraction for anything material. But he had attraction for the topics of Krishna. So he sat and studied under his father, although he's already liberated. He studied Srimad-Bhagavatam because it's transcendental. It's satisfying to the soul of those who are already self-realized or striving for self-realization. Now we're running out of time. And the children are restless. I can feel it. There's a very nice story. Maybe the children will like nice. Ask your daughter if she wants to hear a nice story. You want to hear a nice story? You sure? You won't get restless, okay? Okay, very good. We'll try. It's a story from Padma Purana glorifying Srimad-Bhagavatam. Padma Purana has a whole section, big section, called Bhagavat Mahatmya. It's the glories of Srimad-Bhagavatam. It's a longer story, I'll make it short. Long, long ago, there was a Brahmin named Atmavan, what's his name? Atmadev. Atmadev. Okay. We'll name him Atmadev. And he was a very nice Brahmin and living in a whole village that was many, many Brahmins by the side of a sacred river. So everything was nice except two things. At least two things. He didn't have a son. And another thing was his wife was a little, she talked back to him and she was a little, a little troublesome. But that was okay. He was still hoping somehow he would have a son. There was no son. Then he decided, let me go to the forest, undergo some austerities, and maybe by the mercy of the Lord, we'll have a son. So he's in the forest, and he meets a sannyasi by a river where he's doing his austerities. And he asks the sannyasi, here's my situation. Can you help me? So I can have a son. And he said, I'll do your horoscope, because he knew how to do that. So he was looking at his horoscope and he said, very sorry to tell you, but for 7, worse than just bad. And as in the course of his getting worse and worse and worse, his father just left home in disgust and sought liberation instead of trying to have a son. And the boy was so troublesome, his mother committed suicide. He was too much. She couldn't handle it. And so there's this Dundakari with a house, that no mom and no dad, and he became a wild man. And he grew up and kept prostitutes and did, dirty things, stealing and plundering, and, he became a wreck. And after some time, the government people found out what he was up to. They came and tied him up and killed him, burned him, I think, something like that. So he became a ghost, or there's another word. No, something. Pishacha. Thank you. Pishacha. Huh? This is a different story. That's a different story. So that these two young men had grown up, Gokarna and Dundukari had grown up like brothers. They weren't exactly brothers, but they were in such a close relationship like brothers. And when Dundukari died that way, Gokarna was very concerned. So he went to a place, to Gaya, the place where oblations are offered to the forefathers and departed relatives and so forth. And Dundukari kept coming around in his, whatever it is, Pisacha form. Pisacha form. And it disturbing him, help me. So he went to some sannyasis and asked what to do. I want to deliver my stepbrother, half-brother. They said, worship the sun. So he worshipped the sun god. And after worshipping the sun god informed him, you should recite Srimad-Bhagavatam. This will take care of it. So he did. He was a Brahmin. He recited Srimad-Bhagavatam from beginning to end. And each day that he recited Srimad-Bhagavatam, they had a little place they set up which had bamboo poles around it. And his stepbrother was concealing himself inside one of these bamboo poles. And each day one of those little, joints broke off. And the final day, Dundukari rose in his heavenly celestial body. A Vaikuntha airplane descended to take him to the spiritual world, just from hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam. So the reciter, his stepbrother Gokarna, said, before you go, I just have one question. What about all the other people that were assembled here who were also hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam? They didn't go. And the answer was because they weren't listening very carefully. But I was listening with full attention, full attentiveness. So the people that were there that didn't go to the spiritual world said, can we do it again? And we'll listen really carefully this time. And they went to the spiritual world. It's in the Padma Purana. It's a very wonderful, much longer description as well, and for other things. Glorification of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So all of this, there's more verses, and more verses. Here's a young fellow reading Bhagavatam. Persons who hear Srimad-Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifest in their hearts within a short time. There's another nice young couple. They like Srimad-Bhagavatam. One who, with undeviating attention, constantly recites this literature at every moment of every hour. Whoops, that's pretty difficult. As well as one who faithfully hears even one verse or half a verse or even a single line or even a half a line, certainly purifies himself. I think we can all do that, half a line, right? That much. So there's these two. This is conclusion. The chanting cleanses. Chaita Darpana Marjanam. Here's a lady with the spray bottle. It's the Hare Krishna mantra. She's cleansing a mirror. It's the mirror of the heart or the mirror of the mind by chanting Krishna's name. And then there's others that like hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam. And it makes the heart pure. And it gives you guidance in your activity. So here's the conclusion. The name that was in the upper left, mantra, purifies and allows one to enter deeply or more deeper into the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and Srimad-Bhagavatam bestows deeper conviction in the holy name. That's it. So we're followers of our founder Acharya. This is a photograph of Srila Prabhupada paying his obeisances to the deities in London. And he's offering respects to Krishna, and we're offering our respects to him in the form of his instruction to chant the holy name and read Srimad-Bhagavatam regularly. Okay. That's it. I went too long, but you've been very patient with me because the topic is nice. It's our lives as devotees. It's made invigorated and sublime by this very simple process, chanting and hearing regularly Srimad-Bhagavatam. I mean, there's other nice things too. Taking prasadam is nice. Is there going to be prasadam this evening? Yeah, okay. I'll stop talking. Any questions? So, the process is sublime, and it's quite natural. Singing is quite natural in all cultures of the world, and learning things is natural in all cultures. Eating is very natural. So, it's very simple and very natural and very sublime, and it makes the heart pure. It makes us want to reach that higher place of consciousness that brings real happiness. It's already there. It's just our attention is going elsewhere, away from Krishna instead of to Krishna. So let's see if there's some discussion. Maybe we should just bring it to a close. Who's our Emcee? Does the Emcee want to bring things to a close? Okay. Hey, Shyam, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Let's give a round of applause for Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Those of you who are first time, or others who came, later on, if you need to know more about Maharaj or the programs that we do, please talk to one of us. Vamsidhari Prabhu would give you all the information that you may need.
They don't know who he is. Where's Vamsidhari? Oh, right there. Okay.
Again, by seeing the crowd today, it's almost full house. It gives the excitement that we have in building the temple. You can all see, although it's dark, but still you can peep in and see the nice, wonderful temple is coming. So the Sunday program is the opportunity for all of us to come together. Our program starts at 5 o'clock in the evening. So please try to come at that time, because that's the time, is the Aarti time. So that's the best way to start your Sunday evening. So please come. Every Sunday we have many services, and one of the services we cook prasadam, and prasadam is sponsored by many devotees, and you have an opportunity to sponsor the prasadam. You have opportunity to cook the prasadam. So first of all, we want to thank all the devotees who take time to cook the prasadam, take temple and does all the cleaning services. I exactly don't have the names for everybody who is doing service, but please give a round of applause for everyone who does this service. But it is led by Panduranga Prabhu on the back. He is leading the Sunday Feast program, and also today, if I'm not wrong, is Sandeep Prabhu. And Sandeep Prabhu, is your service today? Yeah. So Sandeep Prabhu, he does so many services, and today is his team who is doing entire cooking and cleaning. Well, today, every Sunday we have several people who sponsors the Sunday Feast. So I will call the names of some of them who are here, and those who are not here, we will offer our prayers for them. So today is Megha Patel Mataji. She is seeking blessings for devotees, and the Kartik month we concluded last week. So she's seeking blessings for everyone, right? There is Lakshmi Mataji and Satish Prabhu. They are celebrating Sri Ritesh's 11th birthday. Sri Ritesh, where are you? Are you here? Ah, here you go. Yeah. Please come. You are 11-year-old now? All right, good job. Keep going. We need a lot of big help. Also, today is Rutul Prabhu. Rutul Prabhu is sponsoring the feast in memory of his grandmother, Purushottam Das Thakur. So, thank you, Prabhu. Please come. Sorry? Oh, it's for grandfather. Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah. It's for reading the name, I realize it's, grandfather. Thank you. Also, we have a sponsorship from Iowa. There is a Chandrasekhar Prabhu who is very kind and always keeps sending his sponsorship. So he's seeking prayers from all the devotees. And Prajakti Mataji is also, and Prajakti Mataji and their family, they are also sponsoring the feast today. So we have plenty of sponsorship for today. We don't have any for next Sunday. So I request anyone, if you are kind and you want to sponsor the Sunday feast, you can see me or Ramdas Prabhu is here. So Ramdas Prabhu raising hand. Please see Ramdas Prabhu. But right now, at least today, let's pray, all of us, pray for everyone who has sponsored the Sunday feast today and for their well-being or for their wishes. So please chant with me together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prasadam, as I know, it is boxed. It's boxed. It's to go. So you can take the blessing and take the box prasadam and you can take it to your home. If anybody is interested in further with seeking time with Maharaj or Vamsi Prabhu, please. Okay, sure. Talk to Vamsi Prabhu, please.
So just a quick announcement after hearing this glories of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Just want to let you know, we started a new group of reading Srimad-Bhagavatam. It is twice a week, half an hour, Wednesday and Thursday. So if any of you would like to join us for the reading, it is a pretty ecstatic journey. So please reach out to me or anyone from the book team. You can say, look for book distribution team so they can help out, get in touch with the glorious Srimad-Bhagavatam and so on. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Please, take the blessings and have prasadam. Hare Krishna.